seekers, joy givers, are you ready for your infusion of joy? My name is Deb McGregor. This is your fall infusion of joy. And today I am so thrilled to welcome our very special guest, Renae Mitchell from the Juice Box Fargo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh. Well, I am so excited because, of course, you know that before I even started coming to see you, I've been following you on Facebook for some time because I was really curious about juicing. And I approached you and said, you've got to come and talk about this. And you're like, absolutely, we have to do this. So thanks for being here.
Well, thanks for having me. Like you and I, we just clicked right away. I could just tell that your energy was going to match mine and we were just going to be amazing.
Yeah, it is. And by the way, I love the color behind you too. It feels juicy to me. Like it feels like, oh, this is all the great ingredients you put into your product. So,
yeah, well, it might be a little noisy at times because we are in a juice and smoothie bar, but we'll get through it.
And I love that because this is real. Like this is as authentic as it gets, right? This is not a made up screen behind you. This is the real meal deal.
Yep.
So Renae, talk to me about how you actually got involved in juicing in the first place. Because I don't think this is something that you wake up as a baby and go, oh, when I grow up, I want to run a juice bar, right?
Oh, absolutely. No, so I started juicing after I ran my health into the ground after starting my second business, which I was a photographer out west in the oil boom and was going and never said no to anything. And then finally, you know, our bodies will basically tolerate so much and eventually they'll just be like, okay, we're done. So I had chronic fatigue. I was told that I was pre-diabetic. I had lifelong eczema. Just had enough issues where I was like, okay, I have to slow down and take care of this. And I tried like every protocol that I could think of under the sun. And finally, what got my health turned around very, very quickly was starting to do raw fruits and vegetables in juicing form. And I couldn't believe how fast my health turned around. And it was just something that I look forward to doing every day. It was part of my routine of, you know, getting up and doing my juice in the morning. And then I eventually went back to school in 2018 to be a nutritional therapy practitioner. And finally, I took those two. It's kind of a funny story of how I started this business, which I'm sure we'll get to, but took those two together and then started this.
Okay. Now, let's get really clear when we are talking about juicing. What are we really talking about? Because I think sometimes people confuse smoothie with juicing.
Sure. So you take an apple, and in any kind of produce, it has soluble and insoluble fiber. So when you have a smoothie, you're having all of the fiber. When you're doing juicing, you're basically extracting the insoluble fiber, so it's like the thick pulpy stuff, but you're leaving intact the soluble fiber, which is why you have to shake the juices because it eventually will kind of settle to the bottom. So yeah, you're doing everything in a smoothie. And then in a juice, you're taking that insoluble fiber out. And then what that does is you kind of think of it as a pre-digested food. So all of those nutrients are going to go straight into your cells. I call it an instant shot of nutrition.
Well, and one of the things that I was thinking about is that I think for a lot of people, they don't necessarily understand the health benefit of it. So yes, there's the shot of nutrition, a shot of energy. But I'm actually wondering if there's even more than that because of when you're explaining the soluble and insoluble, what is that health benefit to having it in that cold pressed form?
So I always like the healthiest thing that we sell in our store is the least glamorous, and it's celery juice. And people are like, ooh, celery juice. Well, why can't I just eat celery? Well, first of all, you got to understand that in a 16-ounce bottle of celery, there's an entire head of celery. So you're never going to sit down and eat an entire head of celery. So what it's doing is it's basically taking all of that insoluble fiber out. You're getting all of the goodness that is in the celery. And it's like I said, it's like a pre-digested food. So you can take all of those micronutrients and it's going to go straight in. And so what people don't realize is that 70% of our energy on a daily basis is spent in digestion. So when you take that element out, your body is able to do so many amazing, wonderful healing things because it's not having to focus on doing all of the breaking down in the gut that happens for digestion. And it's just able to just go straight in.
Yeah. Well, and it reminds me of like why sometimes if a person eats a really heavy meal, they're exhausted, right? Because the body is trying to digest all of that.
Yes.
when you're doing this cold pressed juicing, it's like it's energy. I mean, it is like ring. I mean, it's I feel like it's sort of the take it times 10, right? Like you're just able to do that. I love that explanation about it because I don't think people always understand, well, why do I have so much energy? Like, what is this really about?
Yeah, for sure. And people always have, like, juice or smoothies. It's like, oh, we sell both. There is definitely a need for both of them. I'm not saying that you need to be in all one camp or the other. Definitely have both of them. That's usually what my mornings look like. It's a juice and a smoothie. So it just depends upon where you're at, like whether you're doing a day cleanse or whether you're incorporating a juice. You can definitely do both.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about how you actually got to the Juice Box Fargo, because when I first started following you, you were actually doing things where people could meet you. You did a couple days a week and they would order. Now here you are, like you actually have a location that people can come into.
So going back to what I had talked about a little bit earlier, I went back to school in 2018 to be a nutritional therapy practitioner. And when I got done with that, and the whole foundation of the school is to work one-on-one with clients. And I actually settled into what I was about to do and my own health journey. I used to have the worst eating habits ever. And I used to jokingly say that I used to eat like a raccoon in a dumpster, which was like totally true. And so when I started thinking about actually working with people one-on-one and trying to get them to change their dietary habits, I was just like, that isn't really what I want to do. And so I legitimately went into what I would consider probably a depressed state for a couple of months, because I'm like, I just spent all this time, this money, doing something that now I just don't really think that I want to do. So finally, I just started asking myself this question every morning: what gets you excited to get out of bed? And, at first it was just like my kids, and I couldn't really think of anything, but I just kept asking myself that same question every single morning: what gets you excited to get out of bed? And finally one morning I was like, juicing. And you always have like the good side and the bad side, and the bad side was just like, are you insane? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. What are you going to do? Open a juice bar? And I laugh. I literally laugh because I'm like, this is idiotic. Like, what do I know about running a juice bar? And so I just kept asking myself that. And like little by little, I kind of started saying it with a little bit more confidence, like juicing, like that literally gets me excited to get out of bed. And so finally one day, I was working out and it just came to me like lightning speed. All of a sudden I saw this adorable trailer, and my daughter and I were going to be serving juice and smoothies. We were going to launch at the Red River Market, and it just came so fast at me, and I started writing and drawing, and it's like, holy cow, like this is happening. All of a sudden now I have my dad building me this trailer. I'm applying for the Red River Market, buying a juicer, this and that. My kitchen became like a mad science experiment with all of the different juices. I still have juice splatters up on my ceiling from when we were testing out all the recipes. And it was just like, I had no idea if there was a market for it. So we started out very slow, worked out of a shared commercial kitchen. And, nothing could have prepared me for that first full day of juicing in the kitchen. I've never experienced to this day that level of extreme tired and stress from doing it. So we obviously have a much different process of doing it now, but juicing is definitely a labor of love. I saw this comedian do this little bit about juicing celery, and he's like, it only takes like a couple minutes to wash it and a couple of minutes to juice it, and only 90 minutes to wash the juicer, but it's so worth it. So it's like, I get it. It's not a glamorous process, but it's a labor of love, and it's worth it.
Yeah, I love this. And actually, it's so funny you bring the celery up, because I was thinking one thing I love about being able to go into your place is you've got the celery juice is already done, and I don't have to clean the juicer. Like,
Precisely.
It's true. Like, it's on so many levels. It is just so worth it. So you start with this. It's similar to a food truck. You had a juicing truck that went out, and you would go to the Red River Market. You would do all the things. At what point did you realize it was time for the next step and to actually open the storefront?
Well, that took a while. As most entrepreneurs will say, the first year is definitely the hardest. And so there was many, many times in that first winter, I was just like, this is not working. Like, is this just going to be a Red River Market thing? I was hit with, we're all organic. And so you take organic produce prices are higher to begin with. And then you take winter, we don't exactly live in a climate where you can get fresh produce year round. So you couple those two, and I'm like, I'm literally not making any money. This is crazy. So I'm not one to give up easily. And so I just kind of kept working through it and working through it. And all of a sudden, then we had this thing called, the coronavirus came along. And that was when I doubled down on natural immunity and taking care of our God-given immune system. And when I did that, my business went through the roof. Like, I think I was this light in the midst of the darkness and telling people, like, you got to change your mindset. You can't be living in fear. I choose to live my life with faith over fear, and just kind of putting this message out there that, like, there is hope, and you can, take care of yourselves, not only your mind, but your body as well. And so things just went on this trajectory of, like, just increasing and increasing. And then I would say probably in the spring of 2021 was when I was like, maybe it's time. And it's, I was in my little safe cocoon of the shared commercial kitchen. It's an incubator for small businesses, like-minded individuals there. I was just like, am I really ready to leave this, nice, soft, comfortable space? And then this opportunity came along to buy this building, and I signed the paperwork in June of 2021. And I have to laugh because the day before we're about coming up on our year anniversary of being in this place. And the day before I closed on the building, I called up my banker and I said, is it too late to back out? And he goes, I hope you're kidding. And I'm like, yes, I'm kidding. But I'm like, I'm also, like, terrified. And the lady that owns the shared commercial kitchen that I worked out of, Square One Kitchen, she always told me, and it always stuck in the back of my head, she's like, as long as you're 1% more excited than terrified, you're in a good spot. And
I love it.
Right? And I was just like, yeah, that sounds about right, because this is really, really terrifying, but it's also very, very exciting. So yeah, we're coming up on our grand opening was December 4th of last year. And so we're still in our first year in this building. But yeah, it's exciting.
So let's talk about what's in your building, because my guess is there's people watching from all over. And sometimes people so you and I live 2.5 hours apart, but I make it a point when I am in town or to make intentional to actually go and purchase cold pressed juice from you. Like, it just is. Not to mention the fact that I do get the smoothie, because I do like the Chunky Monkey smoothie.
Yeah, peanut butter and chocolate. Hello.
Oh yeah, hello. But let's talk about that, because when people come in there, give us a little feel for, I know what it looks like. So tell people, like, do they get to come in? It's already done for them. Do you cold press it on the spot? Let's give people an idea what they can expect.
Sure. So cold press juicing is considered the gold standard of juicing. It's a two-step process of grinding the produce into a mash and then pressing it on a hydraulic plate. And so when I decided to do organic produce, I wanted to make sure that I was doing the best extraction method that I possibly could. And that is, like I said, the gold standard. And so it is all juicing. That, like, people come into our store and they're like, why are you not juicing it in front of us? Well, that's why we're, like, our kitchen space is actually larger than our retail space, because it takes a fair amount of room to be able to do the process that we do. But we juice everything on the other side. We bottle it, and then we bring it back out here. Whereas fast juicing or centrifugal juicing, where you take an entire apple and you shoot it through a machine and out comes a juice, that is a great way, but it has to be consumed within 20 to 30 minutes before it turns into sugar water. And so right now, this is the method that I choose. You can actually, the shelf life extends out to about a week versus 20 to 30 minutes. And it also maximizes the amount of nutrients. The other one, where, like, we can literally take a bowl of produce from our fridge, juice it, bottle it, and the temperature is not going to change hardly at all, because it's not coming in contact with heat.
Okay.
So you come into our store. I had this vision of what I wanted to create. I wanted to have the space. So when you said infusion of joy, I'm like joy was all about like my vision of what I wanted this to be like. You see the very fun, colorful mural behind us. You come to the counter. We've got the cold press juices in the cooler. We do smoothies. You mentioned the Chunky Monkey. That's a smoothie bowl. We're all organic, gluten and dairy free. So we're very allergy friendly here. And then in the wintertime, we also have hot items like vegan hot chocolate and golden milk. And then we do a hot apple pie oatmeal bowl. So we do other things as well, but juices are definitely our main thing that we do.
Well, and one thing I had the privilege of trying last time I was there was a pumpkin pie almond milk. So
Yes.
my son loves the chocolate almond milk that you do, because this is all, you literally make this from scratch. So talk to us about this process. And I mean, this is a specialty thing.
Yes. So we love our almond milks. They are so delicious and very, very nourishing. And we always do a seasonal almond milk. And right now it's pumpkin pie. So we take all of our almond milks. We use filtered water. We use our almonds, and then you basically just take them in a blender, and then you blend all that up, and then it's literally like you're milking that juice out of there. And then we flavor them with vanilla, and we don't use the only sweetener that we use in here is organic maple syrup. So you take vanilla, maple syrup, sea salt, and then that's our base, and then we go from there. So then our chocolate is cacao powder, which is non-dairy, and then the pumpkin pie, we take real organic pumpkin puree, and then we blend that with pumpkin pie spices, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah,
so good.
It is so good. I got some, and what I did is I had gotten an organic pumpkin oatmeal, and then I actually used the pumpkin pie almond milk with the organic. Oh my gosh, it was so good. It was like, seriously, it was like, I call them foodgasms. It was kind of a foodgasm because it was so good, Renae. Like I was like, oh my gosh. And my son is all in for the chocolate almond milk. My son works out a lot. He's very, very health conscious and health aware. And I brought that home, and he's like, oh my gosh, Mom, this is so good. And it's obviously so much healthier than some of the other choices that he was making. And Renae, that's one of the things that I really wanted to invite people to, is that this is about choice. And one of the things that you shared in your own health journey is you realized that you needed to make a choice for your own health. And then you felt compelled to share this with other people. So talk to me about, who are the kind of people who are coming in to buy the cold pressed juices?
We have a wide range of people that come in here. I would say most of our customers have incorporated doing juice into their daily routine. I always tell people the biggest thing with juice is you want to consume it away from your food, because when you think of it as a meal replacement or a snack, all those nutrients are going to go straight in. Versus if you're consuming it with food, it's going to have to kind of fight with everything else that's in your gut. So most of them are coming in. They've embraced juice as a lifestyle. They'll have like 1 to 2 juices a day. Like everyone, like we have people that live in this area, and they'll come in and just grab 1 juice. But most people are coming in and getting 4 to 6 juices. They'll stock up for the week. But then we also have our customers where, I see them twice a year when they do their cleanses, which is fine. They just feel a need to reset, give their gut a break, and we'll just see them twice a year when they do that. But the majority of our customers have embraced it as that lifestyle where they're choosing to have, juice in the morning and set their day off, right?
Well, and I have found for myself, I'm trying to remember exactly. I think I came in there, it's almost been 6 months. I think it's maybe 5 months. I would have to look at the calendar to be exact on it. But I was sharing with you that I was very pleased because I've been doing some gut health testing, and I actually went up 4 points on my gut health. And the only thing that I have changed was that I have started drinking your cold pressed juices. That's the only change.
I love hearing stories like that. That is amazing.
Yeah. Well, and for me, I get excited about sharing it with other people. And I mean, we haven't even talked about the glow. I mean, you can just tell when people do cold press juicing and drink water. I think there's water, obviously. I think people that tend to do cold press juice also drink water. I might be making that up in my head, but there's a glow. Like you can definitely see a glow on people.
Absolutely.
And of course it's the nutrients, right? Like we know this. And it's such an easy thing. So I wanted to talk about, you were talking about people come, like 4 to 6. Okay, when I come down there, I easily walk out with 12 bottles because obviously I'm taking them further. But one thing you did share, normally they come in glass bottles. But if a person lives far away and they need to store them, they can be frozen in plastic. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, we have regular customers that they'll come in here once a month or once every other week. And we even have celery juice customers that will order a month at a time. And juices will last in the freezer 3 to 6 months. And you can just, we do pre-orders so people can pre-order whatever sizes they want. We do pickups on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we have people that will put in pre-orders and then they can just write down in the notes section, hey, can you put this all in plastic? We've got someone picking up a 3-day cleanse in plastic because they're going to do one day and then freeze the other 2 days. Obviously you can freeze it in the glass bottles. You just got to take some off the top. So we try to accommodate, whatever types of requests people have and make sure that we help those people that are out of town that they can get their juice too.
Yeah. And it's a great way to be able to take it with you. If you're traveling or etc., like you've got that frozen juice, you can put it right into your cooler. And it's a great way to keep healthy while you're traveling. Because what's one of the first things that sometimes goes, it's the consistency of eating or how we're eating. We might be driving, it's just an easy way to get those nutrients into the body and stay alert and stay fresh. Another thing that I don't know if people know is that you are also very committed to sustainability. People can actually bring the glass bottles back, and you've even got a little outside your place, a little box that people can put them in if you aren't there at the time.
Yeah, no. So when we were juicing out of the shared commercial kitchen, we did all in plastic because I didn't have the room to be able to process that. And so I always told myself if I ever had a brick and mortar, we were going to switch to glass bottles because I just didn't feel good about kicking out thousands of plastic bottles. And so we have these really nice glass bottles and we give people 25 cents back per bottle when they return them. We basically just hand wash them and then we put them in a high temp dishwasher that'll take it up to 180 degrees. And then we take it back out and then they get new caps and then new top stickers on them. And it works really well. As everybody knows, we're in, inflation and supply chain shortages. And so as many of these bottles I can get to come back, like we can help reduce our costs by being able to reuse them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I love that commitment to sustainability because it's about caring for our body. It's about caring for community, caring for our earth. I mean, it's all the things, right? Like it's all of those things together.
Yeah.
A couple more questions. How do you pick the things you put together in your juices? Like I was jotting down, I've got, okay, by the way, I have done the celery juice, but I also like the Love Your Liver one because that's got a few other things in there. I wrote down Beet It because for me, I know I want to be eating more beets, but when I can do it in the Beet It, it has such a nice flavor to me to it. Of course, I love the citrus and the sunshines and you've got your apples, but how do you pick these different juices that you put together?
I must have went to 100 different juice bar websites before I opened. And, there are some certain recipes that everyone has a variation of. Like our number one selling juice is Liquid Sunshine. It's carrot, red apple, green apple, lemon, and ginger. And that's one that's kind of like a universal. It's amazing for energy. And then you just kind of tweak it. Like you need to have your couple different green juices. You need your beet juice. You need your carrot juice. You need your apple juice, citrus. So you kind of get your core 6 and then you go out from there. And I love playing around with different ingredients. Like right now we've got a juice called Tropical Fennel Cloud, which one of my customers named. Her and her husband went on. I'm like, hey, you guys want to name this juice? And they went on a walk and they came back with 3 choices. And it's the first time that we juiced with fennel. So I would try to throw in different things. That's where I can really express my creativity is getting in and just playing with recipes, but also the company that manufactures our juicer. They have a whole ton of amazing recipes that their chef has put together. And we've brought some of those in. And so some of them are from there and some of them I've done myself, but it's just fun to play around with different ingredients. Like we did one here at the beginning of September that was called Veggie Garden. And my assistant manager named that. She loves naming the juices. But that was our first all vegetable based juice. And it was all from a local farmer, which is the first time that we've been able to do that. So that was a lot of fun. It was met with, to do an all vegetable juice, like our customers tend to be a little bit on the sweeter side. And I'm a huge proponent of fruit for healing. But, they were kind of like, oh, this is definitely different. It was kind of like a healthy V8 or Bloody Mary with the tomatoes and cucumbers and bell peppers and things like that. But it's fun to be able to, like this week we're doing Green Glow, which has for not a full-size batch, but it has 10 pounds of kale in it. And we're still getting all of our kale locally. And it's like 10 pounds of kale is a lot.
That's a lot of kale.
It is a large amount of kale. So we're definitely taking advantage of still getting kale locally. And so we kind of just capitalize on what produce is in season and just, constantly be trying new things.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love this. And I get all excited every time I come in there and I see something. I'm like, ooh, you had one this summer that had watermelon and lime and
pineapple.
It was like a breeze. And pineapple.
Yes.
Oh, that one was so good. That one was so good too. Now, what about the
summer breeze?
Summer breeze. I thought that's what it was. Summer breeze.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I know, like when you see that, you just feel like you could just be drinking it, getting your hippie Dan, and just rolling down the road to the music, right?
Oh, yeah. Every time I would juice that, I would do that. I would be like, summer breeze. And my kids would be like, what are you doing? Finally, I had to play them the song. And they were like, what is that? I'm like, well, it's the 70s.
We are not aging ourselves at all.
No.
So coming up for the Christmas season, what kind of special, like, are we going to see a special juice? I know you usually have some kind of a sparkle one that comes out.
Yeah, so we our seasonal juice for the holidays is Holiday Cheer, and it is a fan favorite, and I love that we get our organic cranberries from one of our customers' parents has an organic cranberry farm in Wisconsin. So they literally bring me, when they come see her, bring me 50 pounds of organic cranberries. And I love, now I'm watching they're doing all their harvesting. So it's so much fun to be able to bring these things together. But it's organic cranberries and orange, apple, ginger, and lemon, and it's delicious.
Ooh, it sounds amazing. You know that I'll be there for some of that for sure.
Yes.
So just a couple final questions. What do you think the most important thing as an entrepreneur? Like, what is the most important thing that you've learned?
The first business I started was right after I went through a divorce, and I realized very quickly that there's a lot of people that will think you're crazy, think you're stupid, think you're insane for starting a business. And the thing I learned very quickly is that I had to believe in myself before others could believe in me. And so when you really fill your own cup, you don't need everybody around you to do that for you. And if you have enough of an internal drive and vision and passion, it'll get you through those days where you think you're never going to get a full night's sleep again. You're never when you're sacrificing so much to build something that you love. But that's the thing, is you have to believe in yourself, because otherwise you can't rely on others to do it for you, because they'll think you're crazy or stupid or whatever.
I love this. And I love that you're talking about the believe in you. And when you fill your own cup, you just go out and do it. I mean, you are one of the most tenacious and resilient people I think I've ever met. And you're very inspiring. I could get a little emotional just thinking about your journey. And to me, this is why it's so important to hear the entrepreneurial journey, what people have gone through. Everybody, I think, sees the success piece of things, and they forget about the blood, sweat, and tears that, the loss of sleep, all the things, the haters out there. I mean, it's a thing, right? It's so, I don't think most people realize how much most entrepreneurs go through.
It's that whole iceberg visual, where you see the little bit of ice on top, but it's the majority of it is below the surface. That's totally entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. Yeah, it so is. Okay, final question. For someone who's thinking about starting to drink cold pressed juice, what would you tell them? What's the best advice you could give them?
With anyone starting out on a health journey, because like I said in the beginning, I had the worst diet you could possibly imagine. So there's so many things that you can do that cost very little, like drinking lemon water in the morning, slowing down while you're eating, the whole rest and digest, sleep. We could do a whole podcast on sleep and the importance of sleep. So like doing all it, it's not like juice is not going to fix your life. Like I wish it could, but it's not going to. It's going to be a part of the puzzle. It's a piece of the puzzle. And just to, embrace, like listen to your body. And intuitively, I think we all know what we should be eating, but we eat our emotions, we eat our stress, we eat our boredom, we eat all of these things. So just like kind of start to really slow down and talk to your body. Like every once in a while, I'll be like, oh, hey, liver, thank you for doing all the 2,000 things you did for me today. But just, starting slow, because you want this to be a lifestyle and not just be like a week, detox or whatever. And just like start incorporating one juice a day, like as a snack or a meal replacement, and along with all of these other things, and you will notice changes really fast. Yeah, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to like completely overhaul everything. Just start doing these simple little changes that add up and make a big difference.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Great advice. I love it. Renae, I just want to thank you so much for coming on today. The time has just sped by. I mean, it's like there's just so much we could keep talking about, but I really want to honor your time. And I know you are in an active working store right now, and it's lunch hour, so people are probably coming in. But Renae, we want to let people know you are at the Juice Box Fargo. You've got a website, you've got a Facebook. They should start following you to get all the updates. Mm-hmm. And that if you even live within a radius, make an order and just let them know in advance. Some of it might be going in the freezer. Like you have so many options for people. You truly do.
Yeah, we try to accommodate everybody. And I appreciate you so much. I love your energy when you come in the store. You brighten my day. And this was an amazing short time, but it's been wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much, Renae. So friends, we are thanking Renae Mitchell, Juicebox Fargo, for coming in today. We want to thank you for joining us. We want to remind you, my goodness, I'm falling on my words today. We want to remind you to live, share, and lead with joy. The world needs your voice. Keep shining your bright light, friends. Have a great day. Thanks, Renae.
Thanks. Bye.